That's good, Gwen.
Welcome everyone to Sudbury Talks with Gwen Price. And in honor of Women's History Month, for the month of March, I'm interviewing women in business. And I'm very happy to have with me today, Trina Tallon, who is the mortgage broker with Neighbourhood Dominion Lending.
Good Hi, Gwen.
Hi.
How's it going today?
Yeah, we were just saying, we're already in the month of March. Here we go.
This is my birthday month.
Oh, is it the whole month? I love
the
that.
whole month. It has always been the whole month.
Well, unfortunately, I'm born in December, so that always conflicts with Christmas. But
well, you can make up your own birthday month if you want.
July or something, eh?
Exactly. Well, my birthday was always during the March break.
Oh, yeah.
Growing up, so we always celebrated it outside of the March break, and I just kept that going.
Yeah, because you never know, right? Everybody takes off for holidays during March break and that kind of thing. So you never know who's going to be around. But yeah. So Trina, tell me a little bit about yourself. I know I've known you for a while, but a lot of people outside of me might not know you. And were you born and raised in Sudbury, or did you come here to work, or what happened?
Well, I was actually born in Espanola many years ago at the old hospital, which it doesn't exist anymore. And then moved to Sudbury. And I've lived in a few different towns growing up, in the Muskokas, down in Woodstock, Ontario, different places like that. And for work in my 20s and early 30s, I traveled all around North America, installing hotel property management systems, golf and country club systems. That was just at a period in time when everyone was going from the cash register like this to computerized point of sale systems.
Oh, wow.
Printers in the kitchen and printers at the bar, and getting their accounting all online. So I did that for quite a few years, was in the technology arena. And then I worked for SoftHub Canada for a number of years as their purchasing and logistics manager, and took care of customs brokerage, contracts, purchasing all the raw materials from all over the place to build the tubs. Those tubs are actually manufactured in Sudbury. So
see, I'm learning lots of new information.
I know. And they've been around forever, and it's an awesome product. I love it. I promote it all the time. So I did that for a while, and then I kind of was feeling like I come from a bunch of entrepreneurs. My grandparents were entrepreneurs. My parents were both entrepreneurs. So I grew up knowing what it was like to own a business. And I felt like I was missing my calling, but I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew that retail wasn't my thing because my father owned a home hardware that I worked at for many years. So that's how I know how to do plumbing and electrical and all that kind of fun stuff, because I had to sell it. And my mother was in telecommunications, and I knew that I didn't want to have to deal with product, because product's tough. And, we've learned over the last few years how difficult product can be when we have a supply chain issue. And I think this is my 7th or 8th house that I've owned. And a couple houses ago, and I've always used a mortgage broker to get my mortgages, but a couple of houses ago, I sat down with my mortgage broker and I said, okay, tell me exactly what your world looks like and how much money do you make?
That's always an important, right?
And how challenging is this? Because, I, like everyone else who's ever had a mortgage, thought that I knew everything about mortgages. And it turns out I didn't know very much at all about mortgages, even though I'd had a number of them. So I got my my mortgage agent license. I was working with a different mortgage agent house at the time. And I felt like I wasn't quite getting the education that I wanted to get. And so BMO actually came knocking on my door, and I was very straight with them and said, I'll give this a year and see how it goes. And had some wonderful training with the bank, which significantly enhanced my knowledge base, and then decided at the end of the year that going back to the broker world, or continuing in the broker world, was the best thing for me, because my tagline has been making mortgage dreams come true. And with being an agent, there's so much more options for clients. And it doesn't matter what down payment they have, what their credit looks like. I have an option. And I also love another reason why I left is that I was getting my butt kicked on rates by the brokers.
Oh.
So I wasn't happy about that. So that's a very short, like, what I did and where I've been. And so came back to Sudbury. Oh my gosh. I've been back home for quite a while now.
Oh, so
Yeah,
so how
25
long,
years now.
is that how long you've been in the bank in doing mortgages, or how
So
long?
mortgages, I started in 2014.
Okay.
And time is flying by because we're like in 2023 now.
Oh, I know. Oh yeah. Sometimes I stop and think, okay, that was actually 20 years ago that I'm thinking about. Where did that go? But yeah.
Right, exactly.
Well, and you're well experienced, that's for sure. And you're someone that I reach out to, and my clients reach out to for mortgage information, because as a realtor, it's very hard to stay on top of all of the changes that come out. You know, the federal government comes out with something new, and then of course we've all been through all of those rate hikes and all of that kind of thing, and all of the implications of that, and the different types of more. I don't even pretend to try to figure it out. I know some general information, but it is much more in depth and complicated, and that's not my thing, right? So that's why I lead to people that are experienced and knowledgeable.
Exactly. Just like real estate isn't my thing. In 1992, I actually got my real estate license and did not last.
It's not for everybody. That's
It was definitely not for me. So my hat's off to you, Gwen, and every other realtor, because that is an interesting, it's always interesting to deal with people
yeah.
when they're purchasing something that's so personal to them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and same with your business too. The thing I like about real estate is even though it's the same sort of transaction, that kind of thing, but every person brings something different to it, right? And their circumstances and their families are constructed in different ways. So that's what I like about it. That it's never, yes, it's a sell a house, give somebody a mortgage, but it's all the other things that go into that whole picture. So it's
absolutely, I love it, and I have a great team. So it I love being an information sponge and knowing what all my lenders are doing, what their policies are, keeping tracks of rates, and having conversations with people, because it's not just about their mortgage, it's also about, you know, their life. What are you thinking is going to happen in the next 5 years or 2 years or 3 years? Are you getting married? Are you getting divorced? Are you going to have kids? Or do you have kids going to college? Are you wanting to do investments, buy another property? There's a lot that goes with it, instead of just, you know, putting the blinders on and putting a mortgage together. All those other items need to be taken into consideration, because it's typically the largest purchase that a person's going to make in their lifetime, right? And they could do it multiple times, but they need a plan and not just sign on the dotted line for that 5-year fixed. So that's a lot of fun.
It is, yeah, and we have to appreciate the fact it is typically their most valuable asset. So, oh, that's great. I know you're busy, but what do you like to do outside of your work world?
Well, I have a wonderful husband. We've been together for about 8 years now. We finally got married last summer at our home, and had close friends and family there, and that was great. So we spent a lot of time together. We have an awesome house that is in Sudbury, but on a bit of acreage. So I love being there, and I love gardening and landscaping. In the summertime, we spend most of our time at the cottage. I have an office there. And we're also very fortunate because it's only an hour away in the Bay of Islands. So it's easy to go, it's easy to come back. Have awesome camp neighbors there on the island. So we enjoy their company quite a bit. Anyone who follows me on Facebook knows that I do enjoy red wine.
almost, a necessity in our job. So,
It's like the Mars rule. I like to know about wines. I like to experience them. I actually do read the labels and try and find out where they're from and things like that. And next week, I'm actually going to a wine education evening
oh,
that is being put on. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, we spend a lot of time. I really love going to Dancing with the Stars. I didn't think I was going to want to get back to going to getting dressed up and going to galas and things like that again, but I had a great time doing that. So I see a few more of those in my future, of course.
yeah.
And I would have to say cottage and my husband take up quite a bit of time.
Well, yeah. Well, and of course, everybody knows my two white dogs, so that takes up a lot of my spare
Yeah.
time.
And we have a couple grandchildren, and I've got 3 stepsons, and they're great, and all have awesome women in their lives. So we get together as much as we can with them and take it easy. And I used to curl quite a bit. I've been to a curling national representing Northern Ontario. That was a few years ago. So I took a break for a couple of years during the pandemic
Yeah,
when everything was just,
yeah.
no one knew what the heck was going on. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stay home.
Let's see what that's like.
And because it got a little weird with curling where they would only allow one sweeper and you couldn't sit after, and that's a big deal in curling, right? Is the camaraderie and hanging out with people. So I'm feeling like now that I feel like we're past, hopefully, as much as we possibly can be, and we'll get back to curling in the fall of this year.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that certainly altered all of our lives. But yeah, it does feel a little bit more back to the way we were. But yeah, there's still challenges out there. But well, that's great. Yeah.
And the one other thing I just picked up in my mind, because I was looking at myself and could see what was going on, what I have on the wall behind me is I'm also a Rotarian, and I have a part of my value system, my belief system is that we should give back to our community, whether it be by volunteering time, volunteering, or giving donations and money, or you've got a closet full of clothes, you haven't worn half of them in a year. There's so many different avenues and places in Sudbury and people that need those things. So I'm a huge believer in that and giving back to community as well.
Yeah, I'm right with you there for sure. Because
Yes, you are, big time.
I find, yeah, there's so many people, there's so many groups that are in need, so many people in need. And yeah, you can't do it all, but we could try to do a little bit of that just to make a difference in our part of the world. So
absolutely.
yeah, well, Trina, thank you so much. I think that helps because the whole intent of this is just to get to know people behind the name and the company and all of that, and that you're a member of our community and you care what happens to Sudburyans. And so thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Well, thank you for this opportunity, Gwen. I love it. What you're doing is awesome. I love it.
I try to support as much as I possibly can, right? And that's good. Thanks so much, Trina, and take care and have a good day.
Thank you, Gwen.